It's really not a very comfortable question, because if you've not dealt with a situation of you having these scars, it's really an offensive question. It's that kind of question that ladies really shun away from. How old are you? You know,
Yes.
ladies don't like that question.
Tell us a bit about your experience with stigma, if you've ever experienced any stigma.
So with the stigma, yes, it's really unfortunate sometimes. Even I was looking for a job, and in this particular place where I'm working currently, one of the interview questions was, how are you going to carry out your job? That itself is a stigma question, because number one, if I in my CV I said I'm disabled and I can carry out the job and I'm a firefighter, that means if I went through the fire school, I was found fit to actually be able to become a firefighter. Though even in fire school itself, I was being asked that, hey, how are you going to handle these fire hoses and everything? So I had to prove to them in one thing that, hey, since I'm in a probation for 3 months, if I don't qualify within 3 months, you don't find me fit within 3 months, I will be okay for me to leave, So rate me within these 3 months of probation that I'm fit for the job. It's really not a very comfortable question, because if you've not dealt with a situation of you having these scars, it's really an offensive question. It's that kind of question that ladies really shun away from. How old are you?
Yes.
Ladies don't like that question, So for me, if you ask me, how am I going to deal with that job? I find, though I've come to deal with that. So how do I deal with it? I tend to just brush it off and kindly just tell them that because I'm on probation, you can always tell me that kindly that I leave. I'm not capable of the job, So, well, I've been here for 4 years, so that means I can manage.
Okay,
And I know it's not, it might not be one, just the ones that stand out, maybe 1 or 2 incidences.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the ones that stood out, like the one that has a 5-star rating, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. When it was like a mirage to me. I came back from school, had the fire accident, and then landed myself in the hospital. Came back after 2 years, and then I tried to go back to school. Like my brother said initially that our school is like an hour plus drive to school. And we take a long coaster buses because it's been a long time. So that moment that you are at a bus stand and then you want to board a bus, and then they come and they approach you and they saw you wrapped in bandages, soaking some blood on the bandages, and they be like, hey, we are filled already. And then they drive a short distance and then they pick someone else in the bus stand and then they leave, and then you get to school and your classmates are like, they are running away from you because you looked like an alien, or maybe saw you, and then you try to play with them and they fainted, because you should be seen on the TV, not on a real life session, right? Or was it when you try to ask a girl out and the girl tell you, sorry, I don't know what to tell my family or my friends about the way you look, Or is it when you try to get to a job like Joseph said before, you try to apply for a job and they look at you and tell you, sorry, you're not fit for the job because of face counts, right? So, or maybe when you want to handle some offices and they tell you, sorry, you don't look presentable for our company or our firm, right? So it's like, it will still come tomorrow, it will still come next tomorrow, it will still come next tomorrow, it will still come next year, next 2 years, next year, it will still come. So, like I said, my brother has always been there. He will be the one that will stop the bus. And immediately they try to not pick me up, he will force himself inside the bus. Then I will join him, It's the rejection is like top notch. Like, it will still come today, it will still come tomorrow. Like, I'm used to it. It doesn't even change anything. Like, even before I approach you, I've rejected it in my mind already. So even when you are trying to be nice to me, it's like I'll have to check if you're really okay with what you're saying, right? So when you're used to no, and somebody is telling you a yes, you'll be like, you're a devil. So that's just summary, right? So that's just that. So yeah.
So you've actually answered the question, eh? You've shared your stigma experience and you've shared how you cushion yourself, eh? It's like you've hardened yourself, eh? You're ready for anything, eh? Okay, that's nice. Now, you've shared how your experience impacted you, eh? Financially, and you've just said now socially, yeah.
So when I was about 9 years old, a fellow learner of mine said to me, "Oh my God, like, you're so burnt. You look like a franchise meat." I was like, "No, you didn't." But that crippled my self-esteem, heavily, to a point where I then tried to commit suicide. And my very first suicide attempt, I was in grade 5. My second suicide attempt, I was 15 years old, with my late brother. And then my very last suicide attempt, I was in grade 11. And I took 300 pills, wrote a note to my mom, and then I said, "Hi, Mom, thank you for your love. Thank you for your sacrifices, but I just don't want to be here." I just thought to myself that you will never be beautiful and you will never look beautiful. So why are you here? You're scary, dude. Just kill yourself. How I overcame it was that when I was in matric, a friend of mine's sister wanted to get rid of us, right, at her house. So then she shipped us off to church. Oh my goodness, the worst place. But it soon became my biggest blessing, because the pastor took my friend and I into a private room, and he just started talking to us, and one of the things that he spoke about was purpose. And he said that sometimes we might hate God, which I did heavily for 19 years. I was like, how is he such a good God if he allows something like this to happen to an 11-month-old baby? Like, I couldn't have sinned. Like, excuse me. I couldn't have done something wrong for him to allow something like this to happen to me, until in that conversation that I was having with the pastor. And he said that every single thing that happens to you happens for a certain purpose. And because of that conversation, it led me to want to seek what my purpose was. And I then came across a book called The Purpose Driven Life book by Rick Warren. Trust me, a life changer. Like, for me, that book completely changed my life. It completely changed my mindset. I immediately stopped feeling sorry for myself. I then understood that what had happened to me happened for a purpose, and that purpose is what I wanted to find out. So then that made my relationship with God grow stronger, because I wanted to know, and this one time when I was at varsity, he said to me that your purpose is to bring hope and healing to my people, because your scars, they are external, but every single person has a scar within them. And therefore your story is going to powerfully change people's mindsets to, number one, to stop feeling sorry for themselves. Number two, you are going to show people the power that lies within them, so that they themselves can also reach their purpose, so that they themselves can also reach their full potential, right? And yeah, I'm becoming a motivational speaker now. Yeah, so my relationship with God absolutely helped me to transform my life, to completely be the person that I am today. That healing stage, was absolutely amazing.